Mike, check 1 2 1 2. Good morning. Thank you to all the people who work suicide hotlines. Thank you to all the first responders. Thank you to all the police officers, the silent majority. Thank you to the firefighters. Thank you to the teachers. If you feel as if though the weight of the world is on your shoulders, like if you feel like you can't get out this rut, or if you're feeling really, really gloom, and you need someone to talk to, I don't know, call you off whatever you're thinking, you can call 1-800-273-8255. If you don't want to talk, if you just want to text, you can go to this website, https://suicidepreventionlifeline.org/talk-to-someone-now/. And you can chat. I will link it in the description on YouTube below. Thank you once again to all the people who do the small things in life that get no credit. But you probably wouldn't want credit anyways, because doing it for the people is enough already, and doing it to help someone is enough credit, enough clout already. So, thank you. That's really all I have to say. Thank you. I'm not suicidal, but sometimes you have to bring things like this up before it's too late. We like to talk about it when it's a big news headline. And of course you're supposed to talk about it then. But sometimes let's talk about things that I guess you aren't prompt to talk about. It's the Peng Sports Podcast, episode 34, 7:39 a.m. As I said before, October 20th, 2021. We're in Tallahassee, Florida, and it's getting cold. It's getting cold outside. It's getting cold. The changing of the time is starting now. This is when sports start to get good. People start wearing long sleeves. The balls get harder. Unless you're playing an indoor sport. It's fall, winter, whatever you want to call it. In Florida, we don't have winters. We have falls and harder fall, if that makes sense. Fall 2.0, fall 1.0, fall 2.5. But we don't have a winter. We don't have a full winter, you know? We have a Shinx, we have a Luxio, but no Luxray, if I had to equate fall time to Pokemon. Not the full thing, but we get the second evolution. Fall 2.0, as I said. Do you remember last week how I discussed international break and I discussed England versus Andorra and I couldn't pronounce Andorra? Remember that? I may have mentioned how they tied in Hungary. Argentina beat Uruguay. I may have discussed a few more, but also Netherlands beat Gibraltar. That's the other country I can't pronounce this week. Gibraltar. It's not as bad as Andorra last week, but Netherlands beat Gibraltar. And I see what they're doing, FIFA, changing up the groups so Netherlands can get in the World Cup. I see what they're doing. But there was Brazil, there was Colombia, there was even Uruguay. The only reason I saw Uruguay was because they lost to Argentina and Brazil. But I do want to say this about Uruguay. They've been the best team for the past 11 to 13 years in CONMEBOL. They've carried CONMEBOL. Making the World Cup semifinals in South Africa in 2010 with Diego Forlan and Suarez, of course. And then they won a Copa America when they played the Copa America less often, less frequent. I don't think it was every 2 years like they do now. You know? or they went on a little drought. But I do remember they didn't play Copa America as much back then. Won a Copa America. Made the World Cup first knockout stage. Remember they're in the group of death that year with Italy, England, Costa Rica. Costa Rica surprised a bunch of people making the quarterfinal. And that Italy team was no joke. Right? They had Balotelli, Young Verratti, De Rossi, Marchisio, a prime Gigi Buffon, a prime Marchisio too. They had the usuals at back, Andre Bonzali. May have butchered that name. But, Chiellini, Leonardo Bonucci. They still had that team. They still had that squad. The squad that won the Euros pretty much. At that very similar core. It had Pirlo in that squad. Beat that team. Then they make the quarterfinals in Russia, lose to the world champions eventually. Right? So, yes, Uruguay may have lost to Argentina and Brazil, but they've been the best team in CONMEBOL, as I said, the last 11 to 13 years. So, I guess they deserve a little break. Do they still have a chance to make the World Cup? Yes, of course. But, the team has gotten a little bit older. They have some good players, though. Valverde, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Real Madrid midfielder, center defensive mid. If he even played. I don't notice him playing or Suarez playing. I just don't remember. They probably did. I just don't remember. I don't remember seeing them play. But Uruguay, by far, best team past, as I'll say it again, the past 11 to 13 years, the best team in CONMEBOL. And they deserve the proper respect. Remember, Brazil got knocked out in the quarterfinal to the Netherlands. Brazil made the World Cup semis, but then they lost 7-1. Brazil made the quarterfinals just like Uruguay and Russia too. So, let's understand. It's really been Uruguay and Chile been the best two teams in CONMEBOL. Chile, of course, won the Copa Americas. But anyway, the reason why I mentioned all these teams was not to just rant about international break, because that was last week. We're done with international break. But I just found it interesting no one was talking about Norway, right? And it's not because Norway is bad. They didn't have bad results. They tied Turkey. They beat Montenegro 2-0. I just find it really interesting that no Norway talk. Saw a bunch of countries. But for some reason, Norway wasn't in the equation, I guess. Just something to point out. And something that's really... It's interesting, definitely, 100%. Dortmund, though, lost to Ajax 4-0 in the Champions League yesterday. Manchester United lost to Leicester City. See, Manchester United, Arsenal, and Spurs are all in the same boat. They're all in the boat of trying to figure it out. They're just trying to figure it out. The only difference between Arsenal, Spurs, and Manchester United is, Arsenal and Spurs are sort of in the same, subcategory, right? Where a good season for Spurs is finishing top 6, making the Conference League finals, Europa Conference League finals, going deep in either FA Cup or Carabao Cup. And that's a successful season, not winning any trophies, but just showing improvement. Arsenal sort of the same way. Finished in Europa League spot, have a deep run in a cup tie, and that's a good season. Manchester United, on the other hand, this is where they start to differentiate themselves from Arsenal and Spurs. This season, at least, right? They have to win FA Cup or Carabao Cup. They have to finish top 4. Really, they have to finish top 3. And they have to make at least the Champions League quarterfinals. If they don't get all 3 of those, see, Arsenal, Spurs, If they get one of those, if Arsenal just finish top 6, if Spurs just win the Conference League, right? Then that's a good season. They don't have to get all those checked off the box. Manchester United have to win something this year. They have to make the Champions League quarterfinals. They have to finish at least top 4. But I hear a lot of rumors and this team's unorganized and this team this, that, and whatever. But I think to myself, what a wonderful world. No, but what I think to myself is, I'd much rather Manchester United play like how they do now, on the counterattack, scoring goals, maybe allowing a few goals. That's why they got Varane, right? This is why they bought a world-class center back, because of the way they play. Front foot, speed, attacking, all day, every day, I was trying to think of an analogy there. Foot on the gas is the proper thing to say. Foot on the gas, 25-8. That's how Manchester United want to play. And when that happens, you're going to leave Harry Maguire and Lindelof a little vulnerable. Maybe Wan-Bissaka and Shaw, they're going to be vulnerable. That's why you buy Varane. So he can handle the 3v2s and the 2v1s. Right? De Gea's in form. This Manchester United is not too far off, really. But back to my original point, I'd much rather them play the way they play now than play sitting back, winning a game 1-0, and the goal was a deflected header off of a deflected pass, you know? And they score in the 8th minute, and it's a snooze fest. I'd much rather a 4-2 game versus Leicester City, right? I'd much rather, I think they tied Southampton 2-2. I'd much rather that than, as I said, 1-0, sit back, control the tempo, have possession, slow, methodical. Football's sort of about having fun, isn't it? Is it not? It's not all about winning. Yeah, they're professionals. They got to win. It's not rec league. Kamal, what are you talking about? But you watch football for the fun. The Champions League final was one of the worst. Not one of the worst. Was just not up to par, I should say. Good game. Tactically brilliant. But, man, sitting back, methodical, slow, unimaginative. And, yes, if you want to win, that's how you win. But why? Why would you want to win that way? That's why it's very important for a South American team or an African team to win the World Cup, to show football is more than tactics. It's tactics. It's about being fluent and efficient and skill and flair. That's what football is about. And it's about the tactics. It's a mixture of both. But I've said this before, I believe. Coaching, the European model, I would say, is about tactics and formations. That's what it's about. And this is why international football is so important. The more we see the tactics and the formations dictate who wins the game, the more boring football will become. So it's best, that's why I say South America, African team need to win the World Cup for the sake of football. Because we're starting to get money into it. We're starting to get the billionaire owners into it. It's changing. But will the product become more boring? And that's the dilemma football is having right now. Right? Have fun. The beautiful game was coined the beautiful game because they had fun playing it. Brazil had fun in the 60s, early 50s playing the beautiful game. Don't make it a stagnant, robot, analytical game. That's where baseball's sort of having a problem. Where do we? What's the line? Analytics. Do we play the beautiful pastime? Yes, I call it the beautiful pastime. But anyways, yeah, that's just how it is. Right? But another team, a team that sort of played a factor into this, not that much, but sort of played a factor into it. It's sort of just been building over time. It really hasn't been one team specifically. But a team that's known for their tactics and formations is Atletico Madrid. And they're entertaining, though. That's the thing. They're entertaining in the way they defend, in the way they attack, in the way they counterattack, the way they're physical. You know, they're not sitting back. They're pressing you somewhat. They're being, as I said, physical with you. But Atletico Madrid is my pick to win the Champions League this year. My pick. Yes, they lost to Liverpool. And yes, they allowed 3 goals against Liverpool in Atletico. Yes, they allowed Mo Salah to score 2 goals. But I think they're going to win Champions League. I think they have depth. I think they have talent. They play a more expansive style than they did previously years. With João Felix and Griezmann and Llorente and did I say Llorente? Yeah, it's Llorente. I was thinking of someone else. And Lamar. List goes on and on. Jimenez. They still have the core. They still have Carrasco. I think this Atletico Madrid team can win Champions League this year. I think where they beat Barcelona pretty decently they sort of handled them in La Liga. They have a chance to win not the Copa America. What's it called? It's not the Triple Crown. I was going to call it the Triple Crown. But you know, they have a chance to win the Domestic League Cup, their league, and Champions League this year. I think it's 100% possible. The treble. I can't think of the name of it. Treble. They have a chance to win the treble this year. They've also played in 2 games of the season this year. In the Champions League, AC Milan versus them. Liverpool versus them. Expansive, new Atletico Madrid is here to stay. And they are going to win Champions League this year. Barring there's no injuries, they stay healthy. But they're only going to get better, and they're only going to get better defensively. That chemistry between João Felix and Antoine Griezmann is only going to get better. The game of the season in football, American football this year so far is currently Alabama A&M and FAMU. Okay, let me take you through this game. FAMU get the ball first, FAMU score first. Touchdown. This time, right now, I'm thinking, yes, FAMU's going to run away with this. It's over. Then Alabama score 7-7. FAMU get a field goal, 10-7. FAMU then fumble. A scoop and score. in their own territory. Alabama A&M touchdown. 14-10. Alabama get the ball in the second half. Opening possession, score. 21-10 at the moment. FAMU then score. Missed the 2-point conversion, 16-21. Alabama A&M score again, 28-16. FAMU score again. Hold up. Yes, FAMU score again at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Alabama A&M only scored 3 points in this fourth quarter. Just to let you know. Only scored 3 points. Defense stepping up. That's championship level football, if I do say so myself. But anyways, Alabama A&M are up 8 points. So the score is 23-31 at the moment right now. Little under 6 minutes left. Alabama A&M, good team. Alabama A&M should win the game. If they score, it's all good. They still have to get a 2-point conversion. And if they do score, you still should have enough time to kick a field goal and win the game, Alabama A&M. That's just how it is. But FAMU then scores 12 points in less than 5 minutes. FAMU comes out with the victory because of what? Experience. Remember the 3 keys in sports, people. Talent, chemistry, experience. And at first, I thought they could be ranked. I really did. But I'm starting to see now that they're really all on the same level. But if you're missing one and the other team has it, you're going to lose the game. Alabama A&M had talent. They have chemistry. Do they have experience playing big games against big teams? I don't know. But it definitely seemed like they do not. Against Jackson State, of course, get blown out. Have a great recovery match or bounce back match against FAMU. But the experience of it, of playing a good team, they don't have it. They'll have it next year. They'll probably have it later in the season. I think their schedule gets somewhat easier down the road, but still. Experience matters. And I think Jackson State and FAMU are on a different level than everyone else in the SWAC. For right now. Just on a different level. Except for Bethune-Cookman at the end of November. And it's only when they play FAMU. Then FAMU and Bethune are on the same level. But outside of the November football, the last game of the season, regular season game of the season, in Orlando, where Bethune-Cookman... Anyways, it will be very soon where we see Bethune-Cookman... Not Bethune-Cookman, probably, but Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Southern, they're probably all going to be just as good as FAMU and Jackson State in a few years. It's going to be a lot quicker than we think. It's not going to be a 10-year turnaround. It's going to be very quickly where we did see high-level football, where we see more high-level football in the SWAC and the MEAC. It's going to get interesting. Watch out for SWAC MEAC football. Invest in it now so you're not playing catch-up later. But the NFL. Early in the season, I talked about how the Bills, if they don't them not changing is going to be the reason why they don't win a Super Bowl. Or they don't win the division. Don't make the playoffs. Them not changing, them not making huge tweaks to their roster. And you don't need to make huge tweaks, but I feel like you need a little bit more added to become a better football team if you hadn't won. If they won a Super Bowl last year, I guess they could have the excuse, but no. I feel like they were too sort of outclassed by Kansas City. They need to make some kind of tweak. And they did. They got Sanders. But I thought them not changing was going to hurt them. They lost this week to the Titans, but I'm more confident in the Bills making the Super Bowl than the Buccaneers making the Super Bowl. And the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl last year, right? So I guess they sort of have the excuse of not changing the roster. But I saw against the Eagles, it wasn't a complete game, and they definitely saw some cracks in the armor. Right? And that could be because, well, they've only lost one game. But the reason why I could see why they're not up to par, of course, injuries. But them playing so deep in the postseason, a lot of players not used to that. Expectations, pressure, the mindset. Even though it doesn't seem like these guys are robots and they do everything efficiently, they're professionals, so it doesn't seem like it, the mindset sort of plays a role into it. Remember this, trust your swing. But, again, the Chiefs won this week, and remember last week, I sort of hit the panic button on the Chiefs. If the Chiefs win this week, or next week, week 7, then they're back in it. Right back in it. So maybe the panic buttons, I'm hitting the alarm too quickly on the Buccaneers. Remember, they do have Tom Brady, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So they'll figure it out. Probably. And ladies and gentlemen, the Hoover Dam has broken. The Jacksonville Jaguars have won. It's going to be a long season for the NFL. I predict 12 straight wins. It's going to be a good season for the Jaguars. Maybe not too great for the NFL. I believe they have a bye week this week, if I'm not mistaken. We'll get into it when we do predictions. So yeah, Kyler Murray. What a phenomenal transition there, so yeah. But Kyler Murray may win the MVP this year. But the best quarterback in the NFL is Lamar Jackson. And this is my new top 3. Of course, it's an always interchanging top 3. This week is Lamar. Next week it could be Trevor Lawrence. Next week Joe Burrow could be in there. Next week Tyrod Taylor could be in there. Next week Tua Tagovailoa could be in here. It's an ever-changing list, and we're not scared to change week by week. Because remember, you are not defined by your opinions. Opinions are supposed to change. But this is my top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. Lamar Jackson, number 1. Aaron Rodgers, 2. And there's a tie at 3 just like in golf. Or any sport, but I mostly see it in golf, where there's ties at 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. My tie is Josh Allen at 3, Kyler Murray at 3. It's a tie. So, who's better? Who's your cup of tea? Who is your cup of tea? That's what really matters. Also, how good is Marlon Humphrey? I would also like to go to M&T Bank Stadium. I feel like, and I look at it, and it looks like one of the best stadiums in the NFL. Right? Wrong? Purple seats. I like how the Steelers seats are yellow, the Jaguar seats are teal, the Panther seats are light blue, or whatever their blue is. Ravens seats purple. I like the color of the seats. They're not basic. Maybe I guess you could say every team has that. Some teams like Green Bay just have benches. So yeah. Anyways, shout out to Green Bay. Shout out to Lambeau Field. 49ers and Colts. Why am I bringing up the 49ers and Colts? Are we doing predictions right now? No, we're not. But if the Colts can get a Sunday night game, the Jaguars can get a Sunday night game. And this is the 49ers' second Sunday night game. I'm just saying. Really? Like, let's diversify the Sunday night and Monday night games. You put the Bengals in there. I'm not even asking for the Jaguars. Put the Bengals in there. Maybe the Bengals do play a Sunday night game. Not totally sure. But these teams are getting 2, 3, 4 Sunday night games, 2, 3, 4 Monday night games. Why? Give them a... Let's diversify this thing. You already know not every Sunday night game is going to be good. So why do you force yourself these maybe good matchups? You get out of Miami, Jaguars game on Sunday night. That was a great, phenomenal game. I'm just saying, NFL, diversify your Sunday night games. And I feel like the NFL gets most of their viewerships during the day, so this is prime time, but I just don't think their prime time is as prime as we think. I think they make most of their money at the 1 o'clock schedule and the 3 o'clock schedule. People got to get ready for work. They can't stay up till 11 o'clock watching Sunday Night Football. Right? But anyways, let's get into the predictions of this week. Last week I didn't discuss the record. Why didn't I discuss the record? Because I was subpar. And you guys hold me to a certain standard. And I didn't have the guts to tell you the record last week. But I have the guts this week to tell you the record on this week's games. Week 6's games. Next week's games is week 7. Remember, Sunday's the beginning of the week. Well, I guess it's this week. Because of Thursday night football. But that's neither here nor there. This week, next week, however you want to say it. But last week, on my week 6 predictions, I went 12-2. So give you guys a round of applause, yourselves a round of applause, for holding me to a certain standard. 12-2, good week. The Bills let me down. And there was another team that let me down. Of course. I think the Browns, I chose the Cardinals. But I know the Bills let me down. I don't remember who else let me down. But I know the Bills let me down. Right? I think our schedule, our record overall is... No. I'm 11-3. The Bills let me down, and two other teams let me down. I'm 11-3. So that makes us 56-38. I'm doing off the top of my head. I didn't calculate it. But I do believe we're 56-38. Do the math, 56 over plus 38 divided by, and then divide the total divided by 56, we could get a percentage. No, 56 divided by the total, we get the percentage, multiply it by 2, multiply it by 100, or move the decimal place twice. And we get our percentage. But anyways, week 7 predictions. Most likely on American football and other sports I don't know a lot about, like ping pong. Predictions. First, FAMU. FAMU beat Mississippi Valley State. That's Jerry Rice's alma mater. Alma mater. Broncos versus Browns. Broncos. They play tomorrow, Thursday night. Chiefs versus Titans. Titans. Washington versus Green Bay. Green Bay. I wonder if you're noticing a pattern. Bengals versus Ravens. Ravens. Ravens with their first AFC win in their first AFC game. AFC North win in their first AFC North game. Panthers versus Giants. Giants. No. The Panthers. The Panthers are my pick. Falcons versus Dolphins. Dolphins. Jets versus Patriots. Patriots. They may win 10 games this year. Eagles versus Raiders. Raiders lose to the Eagles. Eagles win. Lions versus Rams. In a close game, the Lions win. Bears versus Buccaneers. Buccaneers. Cardinals versus Texans. It's in Arizona. In Scottsdale is, I believe, where the stadium is. Homecoming game for J.J. Watt. Homecoming game for DeAndre Hopkins. And I do not think that when the NFL planned the season, I don't think they thought the AFC South would be benefiting the Cardinals. They probably thought more the Seahawks. The Seahawks more benefit from it. But hey, I guess you take it how you can get it. NFL. Colts versus 49ers. We discussed this game, but I didn't discuss who's going to win. Is it going to be the Colts from Indianapolis or the Northern California 49ers? Are they Santa Clara 49ers? Are they San Francisco 49ers? Are they Oakland 49ers? Are they San Jose 49ers? The NoCal 49ers is what they should be called. I'm going with the Northern California 49ers to win against the Colts. And I just feel like I'm missing a team. Let me check. Yes. The Seahawks versus the Saints. Oh my goodness, this is up in the air. The Seahawks beat the Saints on Monday night. Your Chicago Sky are WNBA champions. Please do give them a round of applause. I'll break for it. Okay. WNBA, you have a good product. This best of 5 series or best 3 out of 5, first to 3 wins, however you want to say it. We gotta cut it though in the finals. We have to. 4-7. This is my proposal. A guy who doesn't know even how the playoffs necessarily work, but this is my proposal. First round, single elimination. Second round, 3 out of 5. Semis, 4-7. Finals, 4-7. I think they have a good enough product where they can explain it, is what I was going to expound upon it. I think they do. I really do. 4-7, semis, finals. 3 out of 5, quarters, or however you want to say it, the second round, single elimination, first round. I would even be cool with single elimination, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 7. Just in the finals. But I think they really need a 7-game series. Because that was high-level, good basketball. Right there. Congratulations to the Mercury for having a good season. Brittany Griner has gotten so much better since college. More agile. Why isn't she giving free throw advice to people? But yeah, more agile, takes better shots. It's just brings a tear to my eyes, really, man. Because she didn't necessarily have to get better. She's the biggest person, one of the biggest players on the court, usually. Liz Cambage may come in, But most of her life, she plays Listen.Enjoy.Invest how many times a year? Well, this year she played in the playoffs, but she's usually the biggest person on the court. She doesn't have to get better, but she got better. And that's what you got to respect it. You got to respect that. 100%. Congrats to the sky again. Is this Diana Taurasi's last year? Is this Sue Bird's last year? Is she going to give it one more year? Are they both going to give her one more year? I'm cool with it. I think the Storm would be cool with it. I think the Mercury would be cool with it. It's just, are they cool with it? You know, we talk about Ben Simmons a lot. Well, I don't. Because there's just nothing really to talk about there. All-star, defensive player of the year, does way, way, way more good than he does bad. But again, that's neither here nor there. And I'm not going to discuss Joel Embiid's comments. But anyways, this is what we should be focusing on in the postseason. In the offseason. So Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi retire. What the Sun going to do next year? What are the Mercury going to do next year? What's Chicago going to do next year? That's what we should be talking about, not about Ben Simmons. Who cares? Who cares about Ben Simmons? I care about Ben Simmons. But let's just not focus on that stuff. It's just not something to be worried about. We get the news. He's not at the training camp. Let's move on. Let's focus on Sue Bird. This is what we should be focused on. Sue Bird. What is she going to do? What is Diana Taurasi going to do? The GOATs of the game. Not WNBA. GOATs of the game. The basketball. NBA is celebrating the 75th anniversary. Most overrated anniversary by far. 75 years. Who cares? Nothing is the NBA. You guys may act like I don't like it. This may sound like I don't like the NBA. Don't call me about the NBA until after Easter, but still, I care about the NBA. I'm just saying. This is basketball, man. We want the old days. The WNBA is basketball. Invest in it now before it's too late. Because it's getting good, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, back to the most overrated anniversary. I'm just saying, any 75th anniversary is overrated. Who cares? 3/4 of a century? Who says that? No one says that. If you're 75 years old plus, congratulations. I'm just talking about anniversaries of not high school anniversaries. That's pretty cool, 75 years, celebrate 75 years. But anniversaries like this, who cares? 100, yes. 50, yes. 25, yes. 10 years is also overrated. I will say that. 10 years, who cares? When they say 120, 130, these, just because it's a 0, ends in a 0 and a 5, doesn't mean it's a milestone. 25, 50, 100. 75 is 4th. But 25, 50, 100, those are the big anniversary years. Then 500, of course. 250, you can put 250 in there. But anyways. NBA. You don't have to predict your most improved players now. You don't have to predict your MVP now. You don't have to predict your 6th man of the year now, your defensive player of the year now, your all NBA defensive team, first team, all NBA defensive team, second team, all NBA team. We don't have to pick those now, guys. I don't know why we have to just be first to everything. We can wait. Let's wait 15 games and then let's predict who's going to be the rookie. And MVP, rookie of the year, MVP, MIP. You know what I mean? Like right now is when we're supposed to be predicting who's going to win MVP in the NFL, who's going to win Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, XYZ, first team, Pro Bowl. Now is when we're supposed to make these predictions. Not the first game of the season. It's the first game of the season. If the first game of the season dictated was a true indicator of who wins the finals or who makes the finals, then the Magic probably would have won the championship a long time ago. The Jaguars should have won the Super Bowl last year because they won the first game. You don't have to be first to everything, man. First is overrated sometimes. I am dropping bars today. I'm dropping bars. Just saying. Here's another bar for you. Money isn't the key to life. But money can allow you to do things that a lot of people cannot do. Like win you playoff series. Even though, yes, Cody Bellinger was drafted by the Dodgers, if I'm not mistaken. And he hit the single to win the 49ers. Win the 49ers, yes. Win the Dodgers the game against the San Francisco Giants. When you have Blake Trinan and Max Scherzer to close, correct me on my pronunciation. It helps. The Dodgers won yesterday, trying to even up the series. When they're trying to even up the series. They're trying to even up the series today. Later today. Imagine, I think those games started at like 5 yesterday. The Dodgers game. And they're Western Coast time zone. So it started at around 2, 3. I don't really remember, but I believe it started at 5. If I'm not totally mistaken. But that's not crazy. But just find a playoff game at 2 o'clock. Also, WNBA. Let's not have games on Sunday during football season. Tuesdays, like today, yesterday, Friday. Friday's a great day. Saturday's honestly not a bad day. This year, though, because college football isn't as intense as it usually is, college football always goes through these years. Rebuilding seasons where Alabama's rebuilding, Clemson's in a rebuilding season. It just happens sometimes. Where the quality is just not down. The talent is prevalent. The college football may not have been But college football I'm gonna say almost 100% college football is more talented today than it was last year. Just as I said, experience, chemistry, talent. You need all three, and they're sort of lacking the experience part of it in most teams in college football, and they're sort of lacking the chemistry part of it because they're new teams. Young. Next year will be a much better year of college football. But anyways, as I said, money can't buy you everything, but it can buy you a Game 5 victory when you have Matt Scherzer closing and Blake Trinan coming in. And with the Dodgers winning yesterday, and I believe the Astros scored 7 runs in the 9th, it makes me want to believe baseball is rigged. If I didn't watch baseball, I would think it's rigged. But this is just the postseason. And this is why I truly believe the MLB postseason is the best postseason. I believe that. I believe that. It's intense. As I say, it's the most gangster sport in the world. It is the most... If you read you go on pengsports.com, there's an article on why baseball is coming back, or why baseball is great. And you will see it's great because is one of the most individual team sports in the world. And that's what makes it great. They can have brawls. They're limiting those, but they can have brawls. It's just a gangster, individual, rhythm, salsa sport. It's a great sport. Highly suggested. The regular season can be a bit dull at times, but great sport. Boston played tonight. Houston played tonight. Dodgers played tonight. Braves played tonight. Watch it. Be there or be square. Another thing. So what did we talk about investing in before it's too late? We talked about the WNBA. We talked about HBCU football and baseball. Get on the trains now. I'm telling you, I'm forewarning you. Get on the trains now before it's too late. So you can be the guy in the bar who says, hey, I've known about Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Skylar Diggins, Breanna Stewart, Cynthia Cooper. Oh, y'all didn't think I knew about that? Yeah. Candace Parker. Maya Moore. I was on that. Remember, we do this podcast for the people and the clout. We do it for the clout. Remember that. But Game 5 will be interesting today, 100% for the Boston Astros series. Game 4, now that's a series that's going to be very interesting because the Braves definitely have a chance. I know it's sort of obvious to say now, and coming from a guy who doesn't know baseball, this is rich coming from a guy who doesn't know baseball that well. But I just feel like I have the feeling in my heart where whoever wins this game wins the series. I still believe Dodgers. If the Dodgers win tonight, they win the series, I believe. Braves, if they win tonight, they win the series. Even if the Dodgers go back to Atlanta and beat the Braves, and they go back to Los Angeles and beat the Braves, and then Game 7, I still think the Braves won. Even if the Braves win Game 5, I still think the Dodgers won. Again, when you have Scherzer closing for you, this series, it'll probably be. This series is probably going to be Walker Buehler closing Game 7, but when you have players like that, it can get dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. It can get dangerous. And no danger here, but we're done. We're finished for today. Peng Sports Podcast, episode 34. The investment podcast. Invest in yourself. And say thank you to people who do good by you. This is your bounce back week. This is the week you invest in yourself. Everyone's going to be late on this investment. Everyone. They're going to be late on the investment that you put into yourself. Everyone's going to catch it too late. Invest in yourself. And invest in life. But yes, this has been the Peng Sports Podcast, episode 34. Thank you for listening. Thank you. It means a lot. I don't do it for the views, I do it for the people. And always remember this, ladies and gentlemen. Nice guys always finish first. Remember that. Thank you for listening. Peng Sports Podcast, episode 34. Episode 35 next week. Homecoming week for FAMU. That will not distract me from the podcast. I think we've been doing this 34 weeks in a row. Maybe not. But we've been doing it quite a bit. A lot of weeks in a row. Thank you for holding me to the standard of excellence. Have a good week. Have a good day. This is Kamal Daniels signing out.